Hello and welcome to the United Stand. Lots to discuss tonight for you, including Ozil to Manchester United. Could it happen? There are indications as we speak that this deal is getting close and could happen in January. Wenger is looking more and more resigned. We'll also be talking about Jesse Lingard. Is he better than Eden Hazard? I'm trying not to laugh myself, but we will discuss that. We'll also be talking about Jose Mourinho, Paul Pogba, and a hell of a lot more. But first of all, I've just got to give a shout out. Life throws up very, very surprising things on each and every day. And for some people, today would not have been that good. Back to school, back to work, and everything like that. I wasn't at work, boom, boom. But I was on Twitter and just, I'd say not accidentally, I just checked a DM. Found a Manchester United chat group on Twitter. Had a bit of a half-an-hour chat with them, really enjoyed it, and you can do that yourself as well. I don't know how they run it, I'm not brilliant with technology, but it's called Lingard's Fifth Reich. They will be in the comments section below if you want to get yourself on that United group chat. I had a good laugh with it this afternoon, and we'll leave the details in the comments for them, so shout out for that. Funny set of lads, proper banter is what I would say. Football is about banter. I think some people forget that. Football is about banter, it is about rivalry, and it is about opinion, and I think people who take it too seriously need to be a little bit careful, because that's not what football's ever been about. Certainly not when I've been involved with it. But let's talk about Mesut Ozil to Manchester United. He hasn't actually trained with... Oh, and I must just say as well, I will be giving you a tour of the studios, because as many of you may well have realised, I'm not actually live at the moment. There's a good reason for that. Prior commitment, and I have been feeling pretty rubbish for the last 4 or 5 days. So I just wanted to have an evening off, and I had a prior commitment. So I am got a video for you at 8 o'clock, and there will be transfer daily in the morning, but we're not live at the moment. So I'm going to make it feel a little bit live as best as I can do by sort of being a bit free in the way I do things. So I'm going to be checking things out, and as you can see, there's a studio. I'm not in it at the moment, but that's the one I used for tactics and things like that. But that's empty at the moment. That's the yellow pen one though. I probably could have drawn something a little bit better than that. Have you guessed what it is yet? Let's see where we're going with this. If we draw that on there, and that on there, and then what it is it's just two little monsters next to each other. I bet you thought it was going to be something else. Come back to me. Talk about football, Goldbridge. Stop messing around just because you've got some free time. Anyway, Mesut Ozil to Manchester United. This deal makes me really excited because it's brilliant on 2 levels, really. One level, we do need a creative player. I said this yesterday, and I do want to bring this in a minute, about great results against Everton at the weekend. Obviously, after Southampton, there was people shouting Mourinho out. There's people slating players here, there, and everywhere, which I think, you know, fan opinion, that's what it's all about. I've got no problem with that. But I did do the video defending Mourinho. We won. We played really well yesterday. I'm going to go the other way and say, well, actually, it was only Everton. It was a poor Everton. I think we need to just check. I mean, I say back Mourinho, and I think United are progressing, but I'm not suddenly going to say we're going to pin down second place and close that gap on City now. I still think we've got a lot of work to do. I have to say it. I don't like saying it. Liverpool are better than us. Chelsea are. Spurs are. Not Arsenal. And Arsenal sit down. City are as well, in an attacking sense. We don't create enough chances. The goals yesterday from Martial and Lingard were brilliant individual goals, I felt. To call them assists by Pogba would be doing a disservice to Lingard and Martial. We're not creating the chances, is what I would say. We're not creating the good chances. You know, the chances that even if you miss them, you go, we should have scored that chance. We're not doing that. And in the first half against Everton, they were really poor. They created nothing, but we had so much of the ball and we created nothing. And that's where United need an Ozil. They need a winger. And so as good as people want to say Lingard is, or Martial is, or Pogba is, or Mata is, they're not creating enough. So Ozil would fit in perfectly for Manchester United, and I really would like him here. I don't know why I've got an earpiece in. I don't even need it. Idiot. So yes, I would take Ozil at Manchester United. Experienced, Premier League proven. He's played for Mourinho before at Real Madrid. He's exactly what we need, and he's a creator. His corners are good. He's got great assist stats. He can score a goal as well. I do have concerns about his effort levels and stuff like that, but to be honest with you, I don't think beggars can be choosers, and it's a bit like Mahrez. I don't really want Riyad Mahrez at Manchester United because I think there's better wingers, but if it's nobody or Mahrez, I would take Mahrez. Ozil, definitely would take him. I think obviously he's looking for another challenge. I hope he wants to come to Manchester United, because with only 3 or 4 months left on his contract, Arsenal have got a decision to make. Do they wait until May and let him go for nothing, or do they get a little bit of money for him now. And to be honest with you, if Ozil says to Arsenal this month, I want to go to Manchester United, and I'm going in May anyway, you can either let me go now, or I'll stay till May, I'll collect my wages, I'll go for nothing, and you know what, I'm not even going to play for you much over the next few months. I'm going to have a little tweak of my knee, hamstring, because I've got the World Cup to come up, and I'm not going to risk getting big injuries that are going to mess up when I've got no contract. So Ozil will be looking to go in January, and I think that forces Arsenal hands. It's just whether he wants to come to United. Interestingly enough, he's not played for Arsenal for a couple of weeks because of a knee injury. He's not playing in the game against Chelsea. Arsenal are over a barrel with their pants down, and you don't want to be in that situation when Ozil's walking up with the lube. So it's worrying for Arsenal. But if Ozil signs for Manchester United, we get a player we really want, and it slaughters a load of Arsenal fans. They've got nowhere to go. I mean, I love the picture of Van Persie going back to the Emirates as a Premier League title winner a year after he left, and they're all clapping him. Who knows if that could happen with Ozil, but he would be brilliant for Manchester United, absolutely perfect. And you know what? I don't know who we're going to sign this month, but I think we do need to sign players, as I discussed this morning on the Transfer Daily video, which goes out at 7 o'clock every morning for those people who aren't aware. 7 o'clock every single morning throughout January. You've got Transfer Daily. We're talking about wingers tomorrow morning as a little bit of a promo for the video tomorrow. But I don't know. I don't know who we're going to sign, but something in me today just sort of went, Ozil deal just looks more and more likely, and it ticks so many boxes. We haven't got loads of money to spend. We should have lots of money to spend, but the reality is we don't, and we don't have a lot of money to spend because of the owners. But there's a lot of good deals that can be done this month or in May based on players who are going to be free in the summer, and Mesut Ozil is one of those players. I did see us linked, and I'm not even going to discuss this tomorrow on the Transfer Daily. I did see us linked today to somebody from Napoli who's a left back for 54 million, Gollum. I mean, why are we signing a washed up Lord of the Rings character for a start? That was poor. But no, we're not going to be spending £53 million on Napoli left backs when we've got Luke Shaw. We've already seen what can happen when you buy a Serie A fullback with Darmian. We're certainly not going to spend £53 million on a fullback when we've already got a left back. You know, Mourinho has alluded to the fact that it's going to be 2 or 3 players coming in before August. Left back would be a luxury for us at the moment. We've got people who can play left back. We don't need to go signing a left back, and I certainly don't think that we should do. Right, let's have a bit of a studio tour. So this is the Transfer Daily studio. I'm not in it at the moment, obviously. That was the one I used this morning, so that's Transfer Daily. This is a bit of a blast from the past that people may not have seen before. I did a versus one with, I think it was with Ross. Not used that for a while, but a bit of a debate. Who's better, Rashford or Martial? And I think when we did that debate, I think Rashford came out on top, even though I was saying it should be Martial. Interesting. I've never used that studio before. Don't know what that's all about. Could get kinky on that work surface. Fans Talk United. Let's have a look. What's that lineup there? I think this must have been my predicted lineup I did in May. And God, it shows you how things can change. I mean, I got the Matic thing right. Bay, Lindelof, Shaw, Valencia. De Gea in goal. Herrera, Pogba, Matic or Dyer. So it must have been around the end of May I did this. Morata up front, Perisic on the left, Mkhitaryan on the right. Just shows you though, doesn't it? I mean, I had Mkhitaryan there, and look how he's let us down. And Perisic I really would have wanted. Morata over Lukaku. All I'll say is what I said in August about that, is that I said when Morata went to Chelsea and we got Lukaku, I wanted Morata, everybody knows that. But I backed Lukaku when we got him, and I wouldn't swap Lukaku for Morata now. But I did say that they're both good strikers. There's no point in doing this petty, oh, Lukaku's better than Morata or Morata's better than Lukaku. They're both good, and I just think, you know, we went with Lukaku, Mourinho went with Lukaku, and that's the way it ended up, really. Let me pull it back here. Where are we going? That's a very old studio. Very old. It's got the old logo on it. And then what we got here? Oh, I'm back in the old one with no live comments. Feeling a bit lonely. I'll stay in here for a minute though. I like it in here. The fire's warm on my back. We've got Coco the cat over my right shoulder. Anyway, Jesse Lingard better than Eden Hazard. Should we do that next, or should we do Mourinho next? Let me have a quick look. Just having a look at this. To be honest with you, I've just flicked onto a screen. I'm actually looking on the Jesse's Fifth Reich group chat. Remember to give that a follow. That's not the page I wanted to go on though, because I'll ignore you lot, and you don't want me to do that. So, link to Klopp as link to Tony Kroos as well. Unbelievable. Never going to happen. Never going to happen. What I would say though is that I do think that next season, in relation to the right back position, because Valencia is obviously getting a bit old now. I do think that in relation to that right back position, the Fosu Mensah is looking like a player of the future, and I do think that loan move. I've been very critical of Hodgson, and he hasn't been playing Fosu Mensah as much as maybe I thought he would, but he did play him against Man City. He was voted Crystal Palace man of the match, and if you do have a look around on Twitter or whatever about Crystal Palace fans and what they think of Fosu Mensah, they bloody love him, and much like Manchester United fans love Fosu Mensah, he is really well liked. And the thing about Fosu Mensah that I like, apart from his talent, is his effort levels, his passion. Whenever he's played for Manchester United or whenever he plays for Palace, he's just got it built in him that he never ever gives up. He never gives up. He's always at it. He's powerful, tenacious. And, you know, I think Manchester United, pretty much since the class of '92 went, and, you know, obviously Roy Keane, we've really lacked that sort of... It's a very basic thing, a very, very basic thing. Just effort, and Fosu Mensah's got it, and I really hope he's got a future at Manchester United, because I think Twansibi's got it as well, and I think we have lacked that over the last 4 years. So I think Fosu Mensah's got a great chance of being part of United's first team squad next season, and I think, you know, Valencia's going to fade because of age, and I think Fosu Mensah and Valencia should be sharing that role. Jesse Lingard, is he better than Hazard? Let me just get this out of the way. I never shirk away from what my opinion is, because I think at the end of the day, if you've got an opinion on something, then you should have the bravery to stand by it, because, you know, you obviously make that opinion based on facts. And like when I said about Fellaini was crap, that's because he was playing crap. Then when he starts playing well again and everyone says, oh, you know, you're wrong, and I stood by the fact that he's not really the sort of United player I want at the club. In relation to Lingard, I can't change my opinion on what I've said about Lingard, which is that I don't think he's a top 5 or 6 player, and I don't think he should be in the first team for Manchester United. But he's a very good squad player. He's from the youth setup. He gets what Manchester United are all about, and I think he is getting the deserved plaudits at the moment. I describe his goal against Everton as world class. I liked the goal against Watford as well, and at the moment, you know what? I think he deserves all the praise he's getting, because, as I said yesterday, Mkhitaryan's meant to be that player, and he's disappeared. He's disappeared like an Arsenal player, you know, spineless, spent a lot of money on him, and if Lingard hadn't stepped up to the plate, then we'd be in a lot of trouble, and so would Mourinho. So, Lingard deserves those plaudits. He got the new contract last year. He's doing good things at Manchester United, and I applaud him. I think he deserves it, and there's no reason... I can't see of any reason why any Manchester United fan would dislike Lingard. I mean, the dancing and everything's a bit childish, but that's not what he does on the pitch until he scored a goal, which is a positive. So I think Lingard deserves all the credit. He got us a draw against Burnley. That point could be really important at the end of the season. The flick against Burnley was brilliant as well. The goal against Everton was absolutely superb. I loved it. So he's playing really, really well. But there's always a but, isn't there? In relation to Lingard, he is definitely better than Hazard at the moment. Is he a better player than Hazard? No. Hazard could probably go and play for Barcelona or Real Madrid because he's got the raw skills. Is Lingard contributing more than Hazard this season? Is he in better form? Yes, of course he is. And he's doing it in, I would say, a worse team. Chelsea are a better side than we are at the moment when it comes to attacking. We don't create much at all. So, Lingard's got that in his armoury. Would Chelsea, Manchester City, Liverpool, even Arsenal, certainly Spurs, would they play Jesse Lingard? No, they wouldn't. He'd be on their bench. And that's where he should be for Manchester United. But at the moment, he's got to be in the first team because we just don't have the players. If we had Ozil and Griezmann, then Lingard would be sat on the bench with somebody else. And he'd come off the bench and he'd do what he's doing at the moment. And that is the future for Jesse Lingard. And I'm very happy that Lingard's got a future at Manchester United. Can he get... I hear. Come on, shout it out. Mark, Lingard's playing so well at the moment. Can he become a first-team regular for Manchester United? He's got to improve. He's got to keep improving. Remember, he's 25 as well, so he can do it. He's got to keep going on that trajectory up and up and up. And It's not impossible. I've seen it with players in their mid-20s get better and better. The thing about Lingard as well is, I don't know whether he's ever going to fill out. I mean, Sir Alex Ferguson said this about Lingard probably 7 or 8 years ago. He said when Lingard fills out, he'll be a fantastic player, much better player than he is now. He's 25 and he's still a string bean. We saw Rashford fill out over the summer. Obviously, he got himself down the gym. I presume Lingard's tried to get down the gym and he's just not got the body for it. I think if Lingard could add another stone on in muscle, he would be a far better player because he does get knocked off the ball a bit. But it's all about physics. It's all about genetics. You know, Peter Crouch could never bulk up, so maybe Lingard can't bulk up. But if he did, then I'd suddenly think, you know what, Lingard, he could go up a level. For me, I think Jesse Lingard's going to be a very, very important player in this Manchester United squad, and he's going to be a squad player, and you need those sort of players over the next 3 or 4 years. So Lingard's definitely got a future at Manchester United, but I'll be totally honest with you, I would argue that he should be in the first team if we're trying to win a title. But at the moment, he's definitely one of the first names on the pitch. But if we want to go to that next level, I don't see it. And to be totally blunt, he scores goals against mid-table teams when they're tired. You know, Watford, Everton, Burnley. If he started scoring goals like he scored yesterday against the top 6 sides, then I would be like, consistently, I'd be like, you know what. So I'm not going to say never about Lingard, and I think he deserves all the praise he's getting at the moment because he's been fantastic. But I use the word ruthless and I use the word aggressive about January. I think we've got to be ruthless about where we want to go as a club by getting rid of people and who's going to be the future. And we've got to be aggressive in how we go and get the players that are going to make us better. And I look at Manchester United and I want them to be Premier League winners. And I have to gauge Manchester United currently against Manchester City, against Barcelona and Real Madrid in relation to Champions League. And I look at the United team at the moment, and to be and it's not, Lingard's a bench player for me, as is Mata, as is Rashford. But I look at that. I really do think Martial and Pogba are the only two I would definitely say in the front 6 positions that I would want to definitely keep to fight for the title. Even people like Matic and Lukaku. They will be. I think Mourinho would not get rid of them, but I still think that they need to go up levels as well. I don't think it's been good enough for the last 3 months. And I think that brings me into the next thing I wanted to talk about was Manchester United and where we go from now. Because Mourinho said we can be competitive this season. Well, I think we've been competitive this year. I think we were competitive in 2017. We won the Europa League, we won the League Cup. We were second for most of this season so far, and we're second again at the moment, depending on what happens with Chelsea and Arsenal. A draw would be nice in that. If we can finish this season in second place, I think that is massive progression. Do I think we'll finish second, or do I think we'll end up in a battle for the top 4? I think that result against Everton was timely because that gap was being closed by the teams behind us. But as much as I said on Sunday, fans need to back Mourinho and get behind the players. The players responded perfectly against Everton, and I think there's a lot of goodwill from the United fans around United at the moment, because what we didn't see against Southampton and Burnley was effort and urgency from the players. And what we saw against Everton, who were poor, but Everton and Allardyce teams will always be physical and they'll always give effort. So we had to match that, and then we beat them on ability. We did see that effort and urgency, and that should be a given in every United game. So we saw that, and I think the players and manager obviously deserve the praise for that. It was only Everton though, and I think if we were playing Man City on Friday instead of Derby, or we were playing Liverpool, I think we'd have problems. I do think we'd have problems because in an attacking sense, I think we're a long way off at the moment, and I think we're crying out for a winger and a number 10. And you know, Mourinho wanted a winger last August and he didn't get it. The club didn't provide him with Perisic. So you can't be critical of Mourinho on that. The number 10 situation, he bought Mkhitaryan and Mkhitaryan's been a disaster. I use the word Kagawa syndrome. The reality is, he's far worse than Kagawa was. Kagawa, to be fair, probably just didn't get enough games, and he sort of flitted in and out of games. Mkhitaryan is worse than Kagawa was, and that's on Mourinho. Of course it is. It's his purchase, but not all signings will work out, and Mourinho's had a very good success rate in his signings at United. That Mkhitaryan signing has caused us problems, and Lingard's done very, very well in that position, but you know, there's a world of difference between Lingard as number 10 and Mkhitaryan as a number 10 if he brought the form he had in Dortmund, or what somebody like an Ozil or Griezmann would bring to that position. So I think United are going to have to just grind out as many results as we can until we solve the winger in the number 10 position. As I said, Liverpool, as much as it pains me to say it, as an attacking force, are far better than us. Man City obviously are, Chelsea are. And the reason they are is because Manchester United's sort of methodology in the way they attack at the moment is very sort of, I don't know, third gear, whereas the other sides in the top are like fifth gear. And I relate that to what I was saying on the watch along yesterday. If you watch Liverpool or City or Spurs, when they're on the attack, you've got people like Eriksen for Spurs and Ali, and then you've got obviously Sane and Salah and Coutinho for Liverpool, and City with Silva, De Bruyne. But what they do is they move the ball so quick, they don't let the opposition get themselves set, and there's lots of movement off the ball. When you watch Manchester United, we don't move the ball from midfield to front very quickly, and there's not a lot of movement either. So most defences are well set when they play against us, and that's why we struggle to break them down, and that's why we need to bring players in. So where I think United are going to finish this season, I think January is just massively important because we need to bring players in, and if we do that, that will improve us as a team. We've got some good fixtures. We've got Derby at home and Stoke at home, which should be progression to the next round of the FA Cup and another 3 points, which is really good. And that gives us some time to get some business done in the window. So I'm happy with where Manchester United are at the moment. I think we've averted a crisis by not losing at Everton. We've kept that cushion, and we need to just keep on improving. But we've still got to play Liverpool, Spurs, City, Arsenal, Chelsea again, and that's 15 points. And, you know, a 3-point gap on third or fourth is no good when there's 15 points up for grabs. So we're going to have to be better and more competitive in those games. And Mourinho certainly can be, and we've got the Champions League to play for as well. But I said this at the start of the Mourinho journey, and I think we have progressed, but we are still going up a mountain of progression. And as I said last year, progression is up, down, but you continue. It's like a graph. It's like it's up, a bit like Bitcoin, up, a little bit down, up, and that's United at the moment. Success is where you want to be, and it's sustained. And United aren't at that point yet. I don't think we will be for probably another 18 months, but we're definitely progressing. But what we'll see is we'll have good, and then we'll have a blip, but then we'll go good again. And I think that's what we're going to see between now and May. I think Manchester United, second or third, and an FA Cup would be a good season for us. I can't see us winning the Champions League. I'd like us to be competitive in that. We're not going to win the Premier League. I don't want us to be finishing outside the top 4. I think that would be a hammer blow, and that would not be progress. That would be the opposite of it. That would be regress, and we don't want to see that at any point under Mourinho. But I still think there's a lot of work to be done. I think just because we beat Everton yesterday doesn't mean that that everything's great. Just because we drew with Southampton doesn't mean that everything's bad. I think we are a club in progress, and I think Mourinho will get us there. But the brilliant thing is, I mean, I spoke about the Scholes and the Mourinho fallout, and my personal opinion on that is that in 10 years' time, Scholes will still be a legend of Manchester United, and Mourinho won't be. And that's not because I don't back Mourinho. I just don't think Mourinho will be at United that long. I hope he leaves winning as a Premier League title, but I don't think he's going to get anywhere near legend status at United. I think it will just be, hopefully, a period of stability, progress, that he gets as the Premier League, and he never stays anywhere beyond 3 years. And he's not signed a new contract yet. So I love Mourinho, but to be honest with you, Paul Scholes, I don't agree with everything Scholes says. I certainly don't agree with everything Roy Keane says, but they're people who are basically fans, and I don't like the fact that Mourinho came out and sort of belittled what Scholes said because of immediate, the now. Whereas Scholes is just somebody who has a strong opinion about the club that he loves, and effectively is a fan. And I would hate it if, you know, there was ever a comment from a fan that Mourinho was asked about in a press conference, and Mourinho was like, well, I'm a manager, I know better than that. And that's what it came across a little bit to me. I think, you know, you don't go belittling opinions of people who love the club, and Scholes loves the club. And, you know, maybe his comments about Pogba were a bit unfair, but just don't comment on them. He's obviously, you know, Scholes hasn't made that comment, like the idiotic comment Keown made that the players had lost the dressing room. I mean, that is just scandalous. It's slanderous. And the players showed yesterday against Everton that there's no loss of the dressing room at all. I would rather Mourinho had commented on that, because there's no comeback on that. Having a go at an ex-Arsenal idiot about him losing the dressing room would have been far, far better than having a go at a United legend because they called out Pogba for being poor on Saturday. So always got to be careful about that. And obviously I'm very defensive of that because we've been doing the United stand for 3 years, and I love all your comments and your opinions, even if I don't disagree with them. I'm very passionate about fan opinion. I think it's the lifeblood of football, and that's what makes it what it is. And I don't like when people sort of try and demean it. And I do see Paul Scholes as a fan, by the way. I do. Gollum, we're not signing in. Pogba as captain, I did want to just mention that very quickly. I thought the captaincy was weighing heavily on him on the first couple of games he's been captain, and Southampton was sort of the pinnacle of that. He was poor. I think actually what's weighing heavy on him was playing so deep. Pogba needs to play in that position. I don't really think he's a number 10. I don't think he was a number 10 against Everton. I think he was just more advanced left-sided midfielder. And I think that's where you see the best of Pogba. He played that position really, really well against Arsenal. He got forward a lot, and that's where you see the best of Pogba. What I don't want to see is what we saw against Southampton, where he's basically playing as like that quarterback position, hitting 50 yards passes like he can do really, really well, but not really, you know, impacting in that final third. Pogba's great with the ball at his feet, running at people, and that's where you need to get Pogba in the final third. As a captain, as I said, even when he wasn't performing well at the weekend, I didn't say that captaincy was bad for him. I said it might be weighing too heavy on him. I saw Rooney give him the captaincy and he lost his edge. I think in Pogba's case, captaincy could suit him really, really well. He's just got to grow into it. It's a new role for him. But he was brilliant against Everton. So I would give Pogba the captaincy because I think he, you know, let's see how he grows into it. Let's see. Valencia will obviously have it back as soon as he comes back. Anyway, thanks everybody for watching. I say apologies for it not being a live show, but effectively I'm feeling it now, and I've recorded this a few hours before. I got a horrible, horrible headache there, and I had something on tonight, and I was like, and the live show, and I just thought, you know what, I'm going to go and do this thing tonight, and then I'm just going to get an early night, because if this escalates any further, you know, it could wipe me out for a week, and we don't want that, do we? There's, you know, I can't be not doing this. I love it. And hopefully you do as well. So a bit of a pre-record, but lots discussed. Hopefully you felt part of it as well, because that's the whole point. And remember, subscribe to the channel if you're new, bottom right hand corner with that. Drop a like on the video and give us your comments on everything we've discussed. I'm a bit blurry off Sudafed myself. I can't remember what we've discussed. But we obviously spoke about Ozil at the start. That's the one thing I would leave you with. I've just got a funny feeling Ozil to United is going to happen. And if it does, it's a massive boost for us because we need that sort of player. But it also kills Arsenal dead, doesn't it? Thanks for watching. I'll speak to you all very soon. In fact, I'll see you at 7 o'clock tomorrow morning with the Transfer Daily. Don't miss that. And we'll be back tomorrow night, 8 o'clock with a live show. Unless we sign somebody before. And then we'll be live for that. Speak to you soon. Thanks for watching.